This has got to be pure hard to explain.
Hello and welcome to another bonus episode of Kill James Bond. I am November Kelly. I am joined, as always, by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hello, Neil before Zod.
What is up?
R.I.P.
Rest in peace
R.I.P.
to Terrence Stamp, guy we
shit,
love to
for real?
see. Yeah,
Just
like
found
40
out.
minutes before we started recording this, so about 2 weeks' time when they hear it. So sorry for re-traumatizing everybody, but yeah, guy we love to see. Yeah. Theorem has been on my list for a long, long while, so we'll get to that at some point in due course.
Genuine rest in peace to Terence Stamp from
Absolutely.
the podcast Kill James Bond.
However, speaking of art films, we're still on religion season, and Devon, this was your turn to pick. And so, what have you brought us this time?
I understand religion as a very vague prompt, so I brought you what I believe to be an extremely humanist movie, and
yes,
maybe one of my favorite of the 2010s, Under the Skin by Jonathan Glazer.
Here's the thing.
All right.
We can do whatever we want, right? We are the masters of our fate here. We can do this. And so I don't,
our own domain.
That's right. I want to kind of contextualize this with my Jonathan Glazer opinion, which is that the man has made the movie of the decade for as far as I'm aware, 2 out of the 3 previous decades. This had better be the third, right? High expectations.
What else has he made? Because I think this is my first time encountering him.
You'll know, people will be most familiar with him from Zone of Interest, which is his most recent movie.
But he also did a crime movie, which we are going to do as part of Heist season. In fact, I think it would be good to do after Point Break, called Sexy Beast, which I really think we would have gotten to before this. And like, Sexy Beast was the film of the 2000s for me.
Sexy Beast is fantastic.
Zone of Interest is the film of the 2020s for me. So what I'm looking for out of Under the Skin, and, you know, spoilers, what I found from it is the film of the 2010s, right?
You're gonna love Sexy Beast when we get to it, by the way.
Absolutely.
It's so good. Fucking Ben Kingsley, just incredible.
I'm
Just
already
incredible.
on board. That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say.
But so we begin with a bunch of weird art installation lights and Scarlett Johansson doing voice training.
Not quite.
Yeah.
We begin with the A24 and Film 4 logos, which means that this is
this
is a 96 movie. And also the BFI logo, which is how we know it was made by a white person.
Sure. Any other logos? Or?
I think this movie is going to be like very difficult to recount to the listeners what happens without it basically just becoming an audio description for almost the entirety of it, except the last 5 minutes where we find out for sure what it is.
This is another one of those ones where I go, hey, check out the movie Under the Skin. Before you listen to the podcast.
Go
maybe.
watch it.
I do recommend it, but it's a very sparse film. But I do think there's a lot here for us to get our teeth into, and I do have a theory about this film. I have a lens through which I enjoyed it that I'm not sure if other people are going to share, that I'm excited to talk about.
Excellent. This is an adaptation of a book by Michael Faber from 2000, Under the Skin, which is it's extremely pared down from this. Originally, it was going to be this was going to be a full adaptation. They had sci-fi scenes. They had like big set pieces and things like that. They had a boy and a girl alien. They were thinking about Brad Pitt as the cast member. You know, like they were really thinking about this, and it just got cut down and down and down and down to just this. A budget of $9 million, and most of it was just sort of Scarlett Johansson driving a van around the Scottish Highlands.
Yes, yeah.
With the entire film crew in the back of the van for most of it.
People might be
Just
aware
fantastic.
of this because a lot of it was shot around Glasgow, and it used like kind of unscripted scenes with like not professional actors, right? With just like guys off the street,
Just kind of normal blokes. Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to say going on. But so we begin with some spooky future lights.
Yeah, we're in a black void, just sort of discordant violins, really harsh noises.
One of your classic voids.
Bright blue, white light that you're kind of drifting towards.
Some fragmented voices that then gradually resolve into Scarlett Johansson doing, these are vocal warm-ups for actors.
Yeah. It is clearly like voice training. She's sounding out consonants.
Yeah, she starts
Heat
with just
from
sounds,
fire
moves
from
up to
heat.
consonants and words.
You know?
And the whole time we're seeing these like big shapes moving in the void, occluding each other, eventually coming together to form a human iris.
We really like an eye in this movie. This is a certified eye enjoyer movie.
What are eyes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then we cut to Scottish Highlands at night. A lone motorcyclist rushes along and he stops and he walks off the side of the road into darkness and he emerges from the darkness carrying the body of a woman, Scarlett Johansson.
Strange way of, well, not Scarlett Johansson yet. Also, strange way of walking. He's wearing the like full motorcycle leathers and he's like striding, right? He never really like breaks stride. It's very like purposeful. It's also notable that he's wearing like a motorcycle helmet that has the brand name Shark very prominently displayed. But so he like picks up and carries this woman into a white transit van, right? And at this point, I think it's easier if we lay some cards on the table here and say, as we have, that it's an alien movie, right? It's a sci-fi movie because it's a movie in part about alien abduction, just not as kind of typically thought of. And it's a way of like kind of complicating that as a narrative. And in particular here, visually, what we have with a guy like carrying an unconscious or like unresponsive woman into the back of a van is that just hitting the criminal kind of abduction.
That's just normal abduction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right.
I mean, our first real clue that something weird is going on is when we cut to the interior of the van and it's an infinite white void.
The void. Yeah, the void.
Yeah.
One of many voids that we'll see.
Absolutely. Come to Scotland, see the scenic voids. And Scarlett Johansson is there with this woman who has been brought in. And she like undresses her. She like strips her clothes off her. And this woman is not responsive at all, but we see like tears coming from her eyes, which implies like a paralysis.
She is Scarlett Johansson,
right? Like,
she gets undressed and her clothes stolen by an exact duplicate of herself.
Yes. Still haven't quite figured that out, if I'm honest with you.
In that moment, she truly becomes Scarlett Johansson.
She does. She puts on her clothes and then there's an ant on the body of dead Scarlett Johansson, original Scarlett Johansson, which she picks off the body and regards with like curiosity.
Yeah, she's like lets it walk between her fingers.
There's no sort of like remorse or squeamishness. She's just like, oh, interesting.
So compare this as a scene of like possession, right? Or like kind of taking control of someone's physical form, someone's body with something like Devil's Advocate, right? There's a lot more kind of
nobody gets like thrown around or like hit against the bathroom wall. It's a lot more like violating in that sense.
Yes, absolutely. But it's also a lot more clinical, right? And particularly like this void is like a white void as well, which is something that's very suggestive of the kind of the surgical, right? The medical.
Yes, yeah. It's scrupulously clean.
The next shot is a block of flats in Glasgow, and it's a cloudy early morning. And it's almost shot in such a way that you could very easily miss this. And in fact, I had to go back and check. But we do, in fact, see some like strange lights in the sky. Yes. And that is the only real hint that we get of like, oh, these people are not from around here. They have come from elsewhere.
There's these are really like they've fucking verfremdungs affected me here, right? Because these are disconcertingly familiar surroundings to me. I live in Glasgow. I've lived in Glasgow for 15 years at this point, and it's these are just kind of like completely ordinary like Glasgow streets, right? And she's like in the van, in this white transit van, and just driving, and then we smash cut to Buchanan Galleries, like the big shopping mall.
Behold, Claire's. An alien visits Earth, and the first thing they run into is Claire's.
Yeah, they're going to destroy all our monuments, starting with Claire's.
Which is true. There's a fascinating shot in this, right? Because I really want to talk about it because I think it's the opposite of what a lot of Hollywood cinematography tries to do with an actor like Scarlett Johansson, right? Where she's shot from the back. It's like a medium shot amongst a crowd. And it's not only is it sort of like anonymizing in the sense of like she's amongst normies, right? And it takes a second for you to like visually pick her out, right, in the composition. But also, in some ways, it's more scrutinizing because you get a sense that you never get from like a shot in, say, a Marvel movie because they're designed to avoid doing this. You get a shot of what Scarlett Johansson looks like to like run into on the street.